Inflammation in the body is something that affects all of us. We don't notice it, but it can cause many unpleasant sensations, from fatigue to chronic illnesses. In this video, you'll learn how to help your body cope with it. Be sure to check the video description. Only verified tips here. If health matters to you, hit subscribe. But first, let's understand the problem. Inflammation is our body's response to damage or infection. When something in our body is damaged, whether it's tissue, an organ, or a cell, our body activates defense mechanisms. This protective inflammation usually helps us heal. But sometimes inflammation gets out of control and becomes a problem. It can appear as a short-term reaction, for example, in a cut or a cold. Then the body actively fights the infection or the damage, and over time, everything returns to normal. But sometimes inflammation lasts a long time. This is called chronic inflammation. What's dangerous about chronic inflammation? It can remain invisible for a long time, but at the same time, slowly destroy our tissues. It can be internal inflammation that we don't feel, or inflammation in the form of pain, fatigue, vague symptoms. And you know what's most dangerous about chronic inflammation? It can be a silent killer. Yes, you heard that right. Inflammation can cause many serious diseases. Research shows that chronic inflammation is linked to diseases such as diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, arthritis, and even cancer. Chronic inflammation damages cells, which over time disrupts blood vessels, joints, and internal organs. How does this happen? The body produces constant fuel for inflammation, and the immune system begins attacking its own tissues. This not only causes pain, but also many other long-term problems, which could be avoided if inflammation were controlled. And here's something interesting. Many people don't realize they have chronic inflammation until serious symptoms appear. This can last for years, and a person simply gets used to feeling tired or having mild pain, thinking it's normal. But it's important to remember that chronic inflammation is not normal. When inflammation becomes chronic, it stops being a normal defense response and becomes a constant source of problems. This can cause discomfort, such as muscle pain, headaches, fatigue, digestive disorders, and of course, all of this affects quality of life. All this sounds quite alarming, doesn't it? But don't panic just yet. There are several simple ways to maintain balance in the body and minimize inflammation. Let's talk in more detail about what can help us on this path. It's important to understand that the body lacks certain nutrients. One of them is omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 isn't just a trend. They are really important elements that can significantly impact our health. They not only reduce inflammation, but also support heart health and blood vessels, help regulate cholesterol, and even benefit brain function. Even more, omega-3 helps with depression, improving mood, and overall well-being. They have a calming effect on the nervous system, which also helps reduce inflammation associated with chronic stress. And omega-3 isn't only found in fish. Of course, fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines are excellent sources of omega-3. But if for some reason you don't eat fish, don't worry. Omega-3 can also be found in other foods, such as nuts, flax seeds, and chia. And if you have trouble consuming these foods regularly, omega-3 supplements can be a great option, because supporting the body with supplements can be just as effective than getting nutrients from food alone. And now, chromium is another important element that is often overlooked. Chromium helps regulate blood sugar levels, which means it can reduce inflammation, which occurs with metabolic disorders such as diabetes. When blood sugar levels become unstable, it triggers inflammation in the body, and chromium helps maintain normal blood sugar levels, thus reducing inflammation. Chromium also improves cells' sensitivity to insulin, which helps better glucose absorption and therefore less inflammation. The importance of chromium cannot be underestimated, especially because it helps maintain a healthy metabolism. Its effect on blood sugar and cellular sensitivity helps prevent many inflammatory processes that can occur with metabolic disorders. So, if you have problems with metabolism or feel your blood sugar levels may be off, a chromium supplement can be extra support worth considering. suffering. Let's not forget that many chronic diseases like arthritis or heart disease are accompanied by ongoing inflammation. In such cases, inflammation is part of the illness, and it's not always easy to fight it. But supplements like omega-3 and chromium can significantly reduce inflammation. It's like giving your body extra support so it can fight against internal enemies. But it's also important to support the body through lifestyle. And the first thing is nutrition. We all know how important it is to eat well for good health. But what is an anti-inflammatory diet? It's a way of eating that helps reduce inflammation in the body. Include more vegetables, fruits, nuts, fish, and olive oil. These foods contain compounds that help calm inflammation. Fruits and vegetables are true superheroes against inflammation. They contain antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals which help neutralize free radicals that can damage cells. For example, berries, such as blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries, contain anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants which have anti-inflammatory properties. Tomatoes, in turn, are rich in lycopene, which also helps reduce inflammation in the body. But fruits and vegetables aren't the only important foods. Olive oil is another product worth adding to your diet. It contains monounsaturated fats and antioxidants that help reduce inflammation. Using olive oil as the main source of fat is a pillar of the Mediterranean diet, which is considered one of the healthiest for the heart and blood vessels. But it's also important not just to add beneficial products, but also to eliminate harmful ones. Sugar and processed foods are enemies that can increase inflammation. Studies show that high sugar intake can raise inflammatory markers in the body. That's why it's important to limit sugary drinks, fast food, and other foods high in sugar and trans fats. Let's now talk a bit about how physical activity affects inflammation. You've probably heard that regular exercise is good for your health, but few know that physical activity also helps reduce inflammation. When we move, mechanisms are activated that help reduce inflammatory processes. It can be any moderate activity: walking, running, yoga, swimming, or even just a morning stretch. You don't need to be a professional athlete to feel the results. So, a good diet and physical activity are two key ways to reduce inflammation in the body. Yes, inflammation doesn't always show up as pain. It can cause chronic fatigue, depression, general malaise, and reduced productivity. It's a silent inflammation that causes subtle but real problems. And here, many would probably agree, chronic fatigue is a real enemy. When you lack energy, when it's hard to focus, when your mood is at rock bottom, that really makes life difficult. But if you maintain proper nutrient balance, for example, with omega-3 and chromium, you can greatly improve your well-being and energy. And now that we know what affects inflammation and how we can control it, let's return to our body and make it our ally in the fight against chronic inflammation. Don't forget to listen to your body and help it when it needs it. Like this video if you found it helpful.